Good evening. M.M Out here, over there, all over the place. In this case, right here. Once again with the Apostle Lynn Rice Campbell, he who contested the last two general elections. And I'm welcoming now. Ready, sir?
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Now, I had a very, very good response of our show last week.
Okay, that's interesting.
And I touched on something. We didn't have much of a banter on it, but it regarded the results of the 11 plus exam, of which in the top 10, there were absolutely no government schools.
Okay.
And none of the schools were from the north, barring if you call Good Shepherd north. But things that grow big, they start small. And for a zone, the northern zone that's produced prime ministers, governors general, commissions of police, and other important people, that is a very striking statistic that I think that should be arrested and looked at. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's a cause for concern, not only on a national level, but also on a constituency level, like St. Peter.
Yes, because we know
St. Peter. You know, St. Peter has, to my knowledge, one of the, it should have one of the best structural scholastic programs in the island. You know, I went to school at All Saints Boys.
Yes.
And during my time there, we had a very strong cricketing team. We also, I think, and also All Saints Boys was the first primary school to include boxing.
Yes?
Yes, All Saints Primary School.
My favorite sport actually, boxing.
Yeah, we had actually a youngster who went into the boxing arena from All Saints. So it was a very diverse program, and if I recall, Mr. Brooms All Saints, which is one of the reasons why when I went to LZ, I was more advanced in woodwork and metal work, because at All Saints we had a woodwork teacher. Okay, and I think what has happened over the years, especially with the government structure in the scholastic program, is that they've diminished our kids more than helped them to advance. And now we're beginning to see that. We're now beginning to see that the private schools are obviously doing a whole lot more than the government primary schools are doing.
Yes. Were there any famous contemporaries who went to All Saints with you?
Of course.
Can you give us one or two names?
You know, no, I'll be absolutely honest with you. Of course, we know that our former Prime Minister, Mr. Arthur, he was went to school at All Saints.
But did he go with you? No.
Well, not
I mean, friend.
Let me try to. In my age group, there was a number of guys that actually did very well. To my knowledge, most of the guys that I went to school with that were in that top area are no longer here in the island.
Okay. They've taken the talent elsewhere.
Yes, but All Saints has produced a number of very great individuals over the years. So I think one of the things that we have to look at is whether our schooling program is actually advancing our students. And I've constantly said over and over about when I was growing up, there was a show called Doogie Howser, MD.
Yeah, the young surgeon.
Young surgeon. By 15, he was a certified surgeon. And I think one of the things that happened, and I've said this over and over and over, the Bible is also very clear on this. You train up a child according to its gift and its bait. When they're old, they will not depart from it. And we've come to the point where our school program is now failing our students. The private schools are now opening up a whole lot more in their educational program than our government's private schools. Or primary schools.
Yeah.
And it's really hurting the development of our children. And I think the time has really come for us to have critical assessment of what needs to be done to make sure that our children are getting the best programs possible.
But this would also be an indictment on the performance of the government teachers. I'll tell you this, I give lessons to some people every now and then,
Mhm.
and I was once called to, a father asked me to give his son lessons. And I went to the school, and the teachers had him and another guy separated from the others sitting in the back,
Mhm.
and paying absolutely no attention to them,
Okay.
because they said that he was a lost cause,
Mhm.
right? I took him on, he eventually ended up at Ellerslie,
Good school.
yes, your alma mater.
That's correct.
And but they had said, they told me that I'm wasting my time, that it's a lost cause.
Yeah. Well,
So that gets to show you that the government, that was a government teacher.
yeah. Well, let me explain something to you about this, and I think it's also very, very important. And you know, many times we have to understand that the teacher's aptitude and attitude towards students is very critical. Okay, you can have a teacher's and it's in many areas. Many times, a teacher's voice can be very soothing. It can open up the child to learning. Another teacher's voice can be very boring and can close that child's mind off. Matter of fact, I had one instance where one of my members back in the day, her son, he wasn't tipped to do the common entrance exam. We actually had 3 months before the common entrance exam, and she came to me crying because the teachers were telling her that he's not ready, that to send him, he's going to fail the exam. I took him in 3 months. I did a course with him, falling in love with numbers, a mathematic course that I personally structured.
Yes.
And yeah, a mathematic course.
Has this course been used in other kids?
Well, no, it's a course that I personally structured to help some of my members and their kids here at the ministry.
Or within your church, as you know, the apostle.
And so he was having. When I realized he was having trouble with his mathematics in terms of his tables and stuff like that. So I gave him some things to do. I said, now 5 things I want you to go to school. I want you to select the top 5 students in your class, and I want you to watch them on a daily basis and just do what they do. All right, and then I gave him a course with numbers. I showed him that each number has its own sequence. So in case of the number 2, I showed him with the table 2 4. I showed him the code of the number 2, which is 24680.
That's the binary system.
Yeah. So whenever you get to 0, the code starts over. So I said, well, okay, so 24680. So 2 5 to 10. I said, okay, so the code starts over. So I said, what would be the next answer? So the next answer has to end with a 2. The next answer has to end with a 4. And so he picked it up. And so when I got to the 9 times table now, when I showed him the code, I showed him a secret. I said, okay, so when you get to 9 5s, which is 45, I said, all the other answers are the answers before reverse. So 9 times 5 would be 45. So 9 6s would be 45 reverse, which is 54. So yeah, the 9 7s would be 63, which is 36 reverse. So when he picked it up, I said, now you have to learn all the codes. He actually passed for Codes and Powers, which is your alma mater.
My alma mater.
And they could not believe it when his results came back. And I did that with him in 3 months. So one of the things that we have to understand is that in our schools we have to teach our kids concepts, which is what we grew up learning. Okay?
You see, the apostle wears many hats. And I'm quite sure he has just demonstrated something to you that you probably didn't know. So you can try that with your kids too. They give it to you free. You don't have to pay for that.
Yeah.
All on M.M Out There. Now, when I went to primary school, my headmaster, he was an agricultural guy.
Okay.
And the guys who were not like so bright, that's what they would say, he would put them, they would be in the garden most of the time. But a lot of them turn out quite well today, because I think agriculture should be one of our main industries right now.
That was part of our science as well too. Each class had their time in the garden. Okay, and because you wanted to produce a well-rounded child. Many were good at athletics. But every child is not academically inclined. That's one of the problems that we have with our scholastic program. We have this idea that every child is going to be brilliant where the books are concerned.
No.
Every child is not cut out to be a book learner, okay? And I think that's what we have to understand.
I'll give you a personal example. When I was at Colton Party, we had woodwork and metalwork. To me, they were joke subjects.
Right.
I never paid any attention to woodwork and metalwork. But after I left school, and I was looking through those books, and I realized that had I paid attention, I would know how to build a house.
Right.
Because they showed it to you.
Yes.
It was right there.
Yeah.
You were paying
You
attention.
know, back in there with the mortise and tenon joints
Yeah.
and the dovetail
And the
joints
different tools and
Exactly.
what the chisels and so on.
mallets and different things.
Yeah, they showed you. And with the metalwork, the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's critical for us to understand how we need to diversify how our students are learning. One of our main problems though, Mr. Morris, that I will say to you is that today, no industries in Barbados is what's actually leading to the problems that we have. And because there are no industries for our kids to go into after school, the programs to really make things better are falling apart.
But I think, as I said, it's an indictment on everything. Because these things start from small and they grow.
Yeah, yes they do.
And if you don't check that now, it's going to cause a major problem when we are actually gone from here.
Yeah, I think again in looking at our programs, we have to make sure that number one, our teachers are well trained, that we do everything that's necessary to make sure that our children or our teachers are optimal capacity. Matter of fact, while I was on the board at the now Darren Jordan school, there were teachers there that were more qualified than teachers at Harrison College and Queens College.
And St. Lucie.
I'm serious,
Yeah.
very serious about it. Very, very heavily qualified. And, and the reason why many of them wanted to work there at Darren Jordan and not at the other larger or more dominant secondary schools, because they wanted to work with children that needed help. I thought that was very, very important, and I really appreciated that.
Yes, and they should have been lauded for that.
Yes, no doubt about
They should have
that.
been lauded for that. But the way that I see it, I'm very disappointed with the way things are going educational-wise with the youngsters. For a country that used to boast 98 or 99% literacy, and I know that's just by talking. That doesn't exist today.
Right.
You actually used to have that in the Guinness Book of Records, right? So I don't even know if it's still in there today.
Probably not. Probably
Right?
not. Yeah.
But I think it's a very, very sad situation because the children of today are the leaders of tomorrow.
That's true.
We all know. They always say that.
Well, the old nursery rhyme again, I don't think a lot of people know it, rock-a-bye baby on the treetop.
Mm-hmm.
When the wind blows, the cradle will rock.
Yes.
When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall, and down will come
Baby, cradle and all.
Well, what we're talking about there is a cradle of leadership.
Yes.
It's the production of leadership. It's an old English poem, but it's the production of leadership to tell you be careful with the kind of leaders that you're producing.
The apostle always comes to these poems and they actually mean something.
That's correct.
And that's another poem he's given me that I actually know the meaning, which I did not know.
Yeah.
The other one was Ring and Roses.
Ring and
I
that's
was
right.
actually doing a quiz show last week and that question came up and I got it right. And all the others got it wrong.
Right.
It was give a poem that has something to do with the Black Death.
Yes, that's correct.
Right? I remember
And you
just
got it
thinking
right.
about when you
Yeah.
said got right.
That's correct.
Anyhow, Apostle, our time is up for part 1.
Yes, sir.
And then we're going to take a short break. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Let's make our exit.
Okay.
We'll be back very shortly. M.M Out Here, over there, all over the place. Bye for now.